Oh my God.
Oh,
Well, I hope that was worth the wait for some of you. All my apologies that we're coming to you just a few minutes after 11 o'clock this morning. It's been a very busy morning with the Oscars and everything else going on. Just recorded a Last Airbender trailer reaction with my boys over there at Geek Buddy. So that is up on the channel around noon over there. But like, we are here to talk about sports. I am the Outlaw John Roca, joined as always by, I guess, Winston A. Kelsey now. Winston A., how are you? How are you feeling?
hey man, Kelsey's have incredible families, date billionaires. You know, maybe I just need to. Marshall hasn't been doing much for me. What do I own? A retail store that Ross sometimes outdoes, and TJ Maxx. Come on now.
What am I? An asshole over here? What am I? Kelsey, son, Kelsey. Yeah. What is the people want to know? What's on your chest? What is the tattoo, or is that Dragon Ball? What is that?
Yeah, that is indeed the 5-star Dragon Ball.
Look at that.
I've had this for a couple years now, but I am 5 of 6 siblings, and so we all got our place in order as siblings, and everybody else decided they wanted to get a Roman numeral, and I said I don't want a random V on my body. That's kind of fucking weird. So I made it my own and got the 5-star Dragon Ball.
Respect, man. Respect. Yeah. Oh, there you go. All right. I love it. I'd have no tattoos on my body, so no offense to anybody else.
Lame.
Yeah, very much so. I don't know if you guys have watched these. I didn't know this. There's this whole string of TikTok videos where these children show their mothers their tattoos, like, and their mothers didn't know they were getting tattoos. And the freaking out that goes on there is very similar to what my mom would have been like if I had gotten any tattoos on my body. I love the ones of the foreign moms trying to wipe it off with like candy wipes or whatever, trying to think
because they think it's fake.
Yeah, because they think it's fake or not real. They think you can wipe off that easily. And of course, they all come back to, you're not going to find a job. What are you doing? So
that was my dad was so anti, and he's like, what the fuck? Yeah, blah, blah, blah. But by the time I got to the age when I got my first tattoo,
yeah,
he didn't care anymore because his concern was exactly that. It's like, you're not going to be able to get work, like, because I guess that's what it used to be. If you had tattoos, you were unhirable.
Yeah, they thought you were a certain type of person and you wouldn't get hired. Yeah.
And now it's just so commonplace, it doesn't matter. So he doesn't really care. He's like, I mean, I wouldn't do it, but like, I don't care now that I know that that's not going to be an issue. My mom, she's fine with it too, but every time she saw me get one, she'd be like, she would walk off. I was just like, all right.
No need for that. Anyway, we had so much going on today, everybody. We're going to get into all the games from this past divisional round of the playoffs. A really interesting weekend of games for sure. But at the end, when it was all over, we got ourselves an interesting AFC and NFC Championship game on tap for this weekend. Certainly, it's going to be the Chiefs marching into Baltimore for their second road playoff game in a row under Patrick Mahomes to take on these Ravens, and it's going to be the Lions crossing the country a little bit to head on into San Francisco to take on these 49ers. But let's get into the games first. And of course, we'd be remiss not to start with the Chiefs and Bills. That's certainly the first game we need to get into. And just a reminder, we don't have any super chats because we're not at 1,000 subscribers yet. But if you want to send in Streamlabs, feel free to do so. It's in the chat. It's in the description of the video. It's right there above our heads in the middle. And I will read them out as they come in, because I'm sure there's a lot you guys have to say about these games. So, Winston, well, same old year, same old teams, same old year, same old result here. The Kansas City Chiefs.
If it distracts you that much, I'll put a shirt on, John.
No, I just try to look away. The Kansas City Chiefs defeated the Buffalo Bills in Orchard Park, New York here, 27-24 here. Patrick Mahomes led this Chiefs team that looks reborn after watching this game for sure. And the questions about their offense, all that stuff, absolutely dissipated as we were watching this game. He only threw for 215 yards and 2 touchdowns, but Pacheco ran for 97 yards. Kelsey had himself 2 touchdowns in front of his girlfriend, probably soon to be fiance, Taylor Swift there. And the defense played strong against Josh Allen and against Josh Allen. And you could argue, look, the defense here for the Bills struggling, had a lot of injuries here, issues not having Gabe Davis on offense. But still, the Bills were a game team. They had a chance here at the end to go down and either tie the score or win the game. You had Josh Allen, unfortunately, miss on a throw there in the end zone on, I think it's 3rd and 9. and then or 2nd and 9, and then you had Bass miss the field goal, and in the end, that's what did in the Bills here. But heartbreak all around in Orchard Park. As a member of Bills Mafia, out of respect, not because they're my team, I'm a Commanders fan, but out of respect for Del Reed and the folks over there at Bills Mafia, my heart is shattered for them. And I don't know how much more pain a fan base can endure here, Winston, at the hands of a great team. But damn, they're like the New York Knicks of the 90s. They constantly had great teams, but kept running into Jordan every goddamn time. Mahomes is like Jordan for the NFL on this side of the bracket in the AFC. And unfortunately, the Bills just cannot get past Patrick Mahomes. They had everything set up. It was at home. They had a Chiefs team with an offense that had a lot of questions, a strong defense, but Patrick Mahomes led this team. They got the job done. And look, what can you say? They got it done. So, Winston, your thoughts here on this game, on the Bills, on the Chiefs, whatever you want to talk about, take it away, brother.
So many things. So many things. So let's start with the prophet that is Ryan Clark, who called it exactly how it should have been called. You were on Twitter lambasting this idea of blaming Josh Allen.
Yes.
And I want to say this. I am not saying, and Ryan Clark is not saying, if you listen to a lot of what he had to say, that Josh Allen is the sole reason for losing this game, because it's not even close. He was the best player on their team by far. However, if you want to be the guy, you don't get to be like, well, Batman and Wonder Woman and Green Lantern and them let me down, so the universe ended because, they screwed up.
Right.
Superman is always the dude that figures it out. And guess what? The same is true with Patrick Mahomes. We gave him that there is something to be said about the receivers have been trash all year.
Yeah, true.
And that Kelsey has been double teamed. But when it comes down to it, Patrick Mahomes, it's the buck stops with Patrick Mahomes. Tom Brady, all of those teams. Yes, Gronk. 100%. Yes, Randy Moss. Yes, Julian Edelman. Yes, that defense. Yes, Bill Belichick. The buck stops with Tom Brady.
100%.
And so when it's time to get the dub, something clicks in Brady's brain and he just makes it happen. That rarely did we see that not happen.
Yeah.
It was a loss to the Eagles
in the Super Bowl. Yes.
In the Super Bowl.
Yes.
It was 2 losses to the Giants, but again, miracles had to happen.
Yes.
We're talking full-blown mirror, like Eli has to for one of them has to shed a ridiculous tackle, and then Tyree has to catch it with his helmet.
Yes.
But otherwise, when Brady knows it's time to go, Brady goes. There's no excuses for that, and that's why he gets to be put in the conversation as not just elite, but as a GOAT. The same could be said about the Beast Quake with Marshawn Lynch. That's not even a quarterback.
Yeah.
When it was time to go, he went.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Marshawn went off. And so if you want to be, LeBron has done it, Jordan has done it, Steph has done it. If you actually want to be one of the greats, a moment has to come where you step up and do it. And that's what's so sad to me about like watching, say, Tony Romo when he was playing for us and whatnot, because he actually had in his era when he was playing, had more fourth quarter because he had to, because the team would constantly let him down. He had more fourth quarter or overtime comeback from behind wins than anybody that was playing at the time. I'm talking Peyton Manning. I'm talking Brady. I'm talking Breeze. He had more than any of them.
Yes.
So again, something has to click. Otherwise, you don't get to be in that conversation. Now, does that mean that Josh Allen's talent isn't next level? It 1,000% is. Look at the things he did all game. That he was
incredible
handling his business. He was playing better than Patrick Mahomes all game.
Yeah.
But when it came time to finish, Josh didn't do it. And now, mind you, everybody failed. I said this because we were tweeting back and forth. Everybody failed in all phases of the game. That wide right kick, which I have to play a video for you that Haskell sent me, which had me fucking in tears.
Okay.
It's so funny. But the defense, the Chiefs have been averaging because they've been pretty bad on offense this year. They've been averaging, which is still decent, but 21.8 points a game, right?
Yeah.
You allowed them to score 27. So the defense, I understand you had injuries left and right, but guess what? It's the playoffs. By this time, everybody has injuries, so it's kind of hard to do that. The special teams, not only the missed kick, but you put this weird DeMar Hamlin fake punt play, and like that's why a lot of people were giving memes that was like people thinking that the Chiefs were gonna do like the Make-A-Wish stuff and let the kid just like run it in so you can win comeback player of the year. Like there was no point in doing that play. Stephon Diggs dropped a pass. I wouldn't call him fully wide open because it was just outside here, but you have to catch that.
You're that ball.
You're that guy.
If you're going to cry about being a number one, you better catch that motherfucking ball. Yes. Did you have to pull up? Did you have to go into the receiver? I don't give a shit. The greats catch it. Remember Lynn Swann? Go and watch that video of Lynn Swann bouncing off a Dallas cornerback, bunting the ball in the air and catching it. The ones who are the ones catch it. The ones who talk all year and can't show up in big games are not worth the fucking time. Stephon, you blew it. You fucking blew it. You got to bail your quarterback out if he's going to ball out. And if you couldn't do it, I don't know what to tell you. Don't cry to me that you're a number one because you're fucking not. You know?
So all of that, right?
Yeah.
But at the same time, what were some of the gifts that the Bills and Josh Allen and that offense were given? You had a Hardman fumble that ended up with a touchback, stopping a score from happening to you.
Hold on. And that's not a gift. That was good defense. They knocked the ball out just as he was rolling over.
So his defense gave him a gift, and he squandered it because it led to a punt.
I see what you're saying.
Yes.
So
there was a point. A lot of people were like, oh, well, that lineman was stepping on him, but every single analyst or player worth their salt was like, I get it, and that's hard, but guess what? We just talked about Eli shaving the craziest tackle we've ever seen and hitting 100%. Tyree and catching on his helmet. 100%. You have to make that pass in the end zone.
Right.
On top of the fact that with that drag route right there, I know you're trying to like go for the goal, but sometimes you got to take what's right there and handle your bit. So you can't have it both ways. And I think the thing that's always bothered me about Josh Allen, if we're being honest, Josh Allen is a slightly better version of Dak. And Dak catches all the smoke in the fucking world, and Josh Allen gets passes by so many people. And so there's a point at which until you actually do something, I'll give him credit that he's been to an AFC Championship game, but someone put up an incredible stat line to compare him to and who he actually is. He's not Peyton Manning, because people are like, oh, this is the Peyton Manning versus Brady. Not even close. Yeah. They said he's Phillip Rivers, which is still a good comparison. But if you actually go look at the numbers for their first 6 seasons, made the playoffs most of those times, never made it to one AFC Championship game, but could not get the job done. And that doesn't mean that Josh couldn't do it in the future. But if you actually look at the numbers and the comparisons, that's exactly who he is right now. And again, that's not a diss.
Right.
But you don't get to be in the conversation with the Lamars, with the Patrick Mahomes, with the Burrows when they're doing things like getting MVPs, making it to the Super Bowl, winning multiple Super Bowls. You don't get to be in that conversation until you have something to prove with it. It's the same reason why we love Dame Lillard, but unfortunately, Dame kept being in a position where or even Russell Westbrook. So you would put all the talent in the world on it, but until it translates to something, you don't necessarily get to be in the conversation with the rest of the people that are doing shit with it. And that's it. I'm not saying that there weren't failures across the board with the Bills and it's on Josh Allen. No, but you are Superman. The buck stops with Superman, period.
Okay, but I also I agree. I can see the Phillip Rivers comparison. I think that's much more accurate than the Peyton Manning situation. Although because I think Josh has less weapons than there's no LaDainian Tomlinson walking through the door for the Bills. Josh has had to do this with
James Cook has been cooking
a non-existent running game for pretty much his entire career there at Buffalo, and Stephon has been their only really number one guy that they've had there. And Gabe Davis was out as a backup there, as a receiver who has torched the Chiefs before in the past. But that being said, Patrick Mahomes operating with just as much of an issue here. Kadarius Toney and those fingers of butter. McCall Hardman doing one play, and his one play was to lose the ball out of bounds in a touchback to the ball back to the Bills. But Kelsey showing up. I don't know how you leave Kelsey wide open twice to get those touchdowns, or the first touchdown was wide open. The second touchdown right around the end there to jump in to get the touchdown. I don't understand that at all. Pacheco ran like a beast. How don't you plan to stack the box and just drop your DBs back to protect on Kelsey and see what Mahomes can do? It was just fascinating to watch some of the game plan. And I will say this, the offensive play calling, that's not on Josh. That's on the offensive play callers. Josh They had no pass past 8 yards the entire game. 8 yards. That should tell you the situation. And no pass was completed beyond 8 yards by Josh Allen. That's not a good stat. And yes, coming around the corner, he absolutely should have hit Stephon on the cut there, on the slant there, coming across him on the 2nd and 9. That's the smarter move. He went for the home run ball. Quarterbacks go for the home run ball. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it doesn't. That lineman was pushed into him by Chris Jones. That's why you pay Chris Jones the big money, because he can affect things on big plays, important plays, and the ball went errant from Josh Allen. But I think Josh Allen played an incredible game up until those last few minutes. And you're right, this is the difference. When you want to be considered one of the elite, you come through in the last few minutes. You don't blow it, you don't gas it, you don't lose it. You come through in the last few minutes. That's important. You win titles. You're right. Dame time has never been Dame time in the finals. So Dame time is cute, but it ain't never been Dame time in the finals. And that is a mark on Dame Lillard, So these are things you have to look at overall. But the Chiefs deserve, look, blood feud, jokes, all jokes aside, Mahomes was incredible, man. I mean, watching him in that game, I was like, every reason he has to lose this game, but he went in there like Brady. Like, sometimes I've discounted Brady as just this angry white boy. That motherfucker has nerves of steel and a desire to win that does not matter what color or gender, ethnicity you are. That's something you are born with. Mahomes has the same thing. For all the shit he's taken, Mahomes internalizes it, focuses on the game, and comes through way more often than not. Came through again. Now, against Baltimore, we'll talk about a separate conversation, but in this game, on the road, first road playoff game, he got the job done. He's gone to 6 AFC. Every single one of his seasons have ended up with AFC Championship games when he has started. That's mind-blowing.
That's insane.
6 in a row.
That's insane.
This is LeBron level shit or Jordan level shit. It is mind-blowing to think about that, of what he was able to do. So, yeah, I mean, just nothing but respect for the Bills, and they had a great season and did everything they could to get into those playoffs. But unfortunately, if you can't get the job done at home, man, and I've seen those videos. I don't know if I'll put them up, but some of those videos are just heartbreaking. That guy crying after he got himself a Super Bowl tattoo.
I mean, that's hilarious. I don't feel bad for you. Like,
no,
whose fault is that? Like, somebody said it looks like that was actually fake. It looks like a temporary tattoo, and the dude was trying to go viral. And and it's very possible that's the case. We live in a world of AI at this point. Nobody knows what's real anymore. But like, I just
no excuse.
I don't. Yeah. But if it's real, why would I feel bad for you?
Yeah, right.
You literally, in the same way that if you took your life savings to Vegas and you put it all on, it wouldn't even be putting it on black, because there were 8 teams at the time. So let's just say, for example, they're all even playing field. So you have a 1 in 8 chance. All right. And you decide to put your whole life on one number. I don't feel bad for you. I don't. But this was the graphic I was talking about. I was watching Speak, and they brought it up. First 6 NFL seasons, both 0 MVPs, both went to 2 Pro Bowls, both have 1 conference championship game appearance, nothing else to show from it. And that doesn't mean that they're not good. Phillip Rivers is up there with some of the most yardage of all time, which is making me starting to think that maybe that's the curse of being a Chargers franchise quarterback, is that you'll have all of the random ass records with yards and touchdowns, but you ain't going to do shit with it. But that's just the whole thing specifically with Josh, man, is that, again, the talent is there. You know what's interesting, though, and what makes the difference between, what makes Josh Allen in this case, let's say a Lex Luthor, and Patrick Mahomes Superman, is that Patrick Mahomes, the idea that everybody needs a 2-minute drill, Patrick Mahomes needed 13 seconds.
Yeah.
He needed 13 seconds to beat the same team. And so I think, for the sake of a good friend of mine who's a big Bills fan, I think for the sake of the Bills Mafia, I think even for the sake of Josh Allen, I hope that one day they do truly figure this out. But I'm telling you that there's a reason why you get paid the $250-300 million contracts and everybody else doesn't. The buck stops with you. You played an incredible game, but Patrick has made magic happen before. It's about time you figure out how to make some magic yourself to end it. That's it. That's all I'm saying.
Do you, before we leave this game, does Sean McDermott stay on as the coach? Do you keep him? Like, do you keep him or do you move on? Because I tweeted this out, and some people are like, you're crazy, but I tweeted this out and I said, If I'm the owner of the Bills right now, as soon as the game is over, I'm on the phone to Bill Belichick. And I'm saying to him, what will it take to get you here? Because Josh has some prime years left. You know how to coach a standing quarterback in the pocket quarterback who can also run occasionally. What's it going to take? And that's what I would do in a heartbeat. What would
if you can get Bill or Harbaugh, I would take either one.
Fair.
I would take either one because Harbaugh also, you give him a solid quarterback, especially one that can use his legs. Oh my God.
Yeah.
He does, like his brother, always have solid defenses. Like, look what they did to Penix.
Right.
Some people might argue, well, that's because he had all the signs. It doesn't he is known for his teams, despite the scandal this year, for having strong defenses. So I think this is a situation where I think about oh my goodness, was it Mark Davis?
Yeah,
that was coaching the Warriors, but then you needed Kerr to take him to the
Jackson.
promise. Mark Jackson, excuse me, Mark Jackson. But
Davis
then you needed Kerr to take him to the promised land.
Yep.
Or like you mentioned with Jordan. Jordan is the guy and he's doing the thing, but you needed Phil to take him to the promised land.
Collins was never going to take him to the promised land. Yeah.
Exactly. You needed Phil to come back again with Kobe and to get Gasol in order to take him to the promised land. So I just think that you've gotten pretty much everything you can out of Sean McDermott, and I think he's a phenomenal coach. But I think this is one of those situations where if you see the opportunity to make that next level step, then that's it. Because the truth is, you got rid of some coordinators mid-season.
Yeah.
They were in a slump for a while. And part of that is, which is why I brought up Josh Allen gets this random pass that Dak doesn't.
Right.
They got them in the hole in the first place where they had to go on nothing but a solid, undefeatable run to even get to this game.
7 games
I even wonder, because playoffs are at most 4 games. 4 games to win the Super Bowl, right? How exhausted must you have been at that point that you had to win 6 in a row, 7 to get to this game, and then you still had potentially 2 more to win? That's fucking exhausting.
100% agree with you. It's crazy, and that's what's so you got to, if you're the owner of the Bills, you've got to make the move, man. I mean, I think
so.
We're seeing McCarthy coming back to the Cowboys, which of course makes no sense to me at all, but I get why Jerry wants to. No extension. Jerry wants to kind of finish out the thing with him and see what happens. Sirianni is apparently coming back to the Eagles. That seems to be the report here. If I'm the owner of the Bills, I do everything I can to get Bill to come to New England. People are like, oh, he would never go in conference. Bullshit. The Patriots fucking kicked him out the door. Is there no greater revenge on Robert Kraft and Tom Brady than leading Josh Allen, who could be Tom Brady-esque possibly, to the promised land multiple times before you retire? There's a possibility. And I guarantee you, Stephon Diggs doesn't drop that ball out of fear that Belichick will put him on a train that evening to the Commanders or something. There's possibilities here. So
I love how you tried to speak it into existence. I saw what you did there. For someone that was just shit talking Stephon Diggs, I saw you go and it put you on a train to the, I don't know, like the Washington Commanders. Like what a horrible situation to end up in.
It is a horrible situation right now. We'll see who they get as a coach. But what a terrible thing to go to the Commanders. I just think that's the move. I think there's no other move. There's no other move that makes sense. I don't even think Harbaugh, to be honest with you, makes sense because he's been out of the league for so long. You don't know what you're going to get, and it's going to be a gradual thing with Harbaugh. So I think for me, Belichick is already tailor-made, ready-made. People will come to play for him in a new environment. It's very possible.
The only reason I push back a little bit, and I think Harbaugh would do just fine as well, is he has been to a Super Bowl as a NFL coach and literally needed just a little bit more time for Kaepernick to turn it around, because the Ravens were dominating most of that game, and then all of a sudden in the fourth quarter, it seemed like, oh shit, could San Francisco come back and do this? I remember being like, can there be another blackout, please? Because I really don't need the San Francisco 49ers to win this. But he also just won a national championship in college, which in some cases you might even make an argument it's a little bit harder because it's so arbitrary how you end up in the playoffs in the first place.
Oh, it really is. Yeah.
So to pull that off is such a huge deal. Yeah. So I don't know. I genuinely think either one would be a good fit to do that.
All right. Yeah, we'll see what happens with the Bills. But certainly the Chiefs march on, and We'll talk about our predictions for them against the Ravens, but Sean Brennan, respect, all credit to Mahomes. He did the job. Got nothing but respect for. And Kelsey, oh, fuck, you leave him wide open. I don't know how you do that. But yeah.
Last thing I'll say, because I realized I didn't really talk much about the Chiefs. I was really focused on the Bills' failings here.
It's a bigger story, but yes, go ahead.
It is. And I just know that at the same time, like, I remember when the Mavs won the title, all they talked about was LeBron failing and shrinking versus what Dirk and that team did.
Yeah.
I think that it has to be shouted out that Pacheco with a 97-yard game, but specifically that every one of the receivers actually stood on a business.
Yeah.
So, like,
except for Mecole Hardman, but yeah.
Well, but that was a fumble. And that, if you want to have that conversation, I call that a failing on Andy Reid and that offensive play calling.
Yes,
Hardman had not been he hadn't been running the ball all year. So you give it to him then, like, just because you're trying to get him in the mix, that's on you. Like, maybe that's not the time to see if, like, to give him that spot, right? But we've been up Valdez-Scantling's ass for not being around and not catching balls. 4 targets. He caught 2 of them for 62 yards. Yeah. Kelsey obviously finally got in the mix with 5 catches, 75 yards, 2 touchdowns. But Rashee Rice looking like the star that he is, 4 for 47.
Yeah.
And then all these other little catches, they still mattered, but the receivers were catching the ball. Like, the biggest concern wasn't that they weren't getting open or anything. The concern was they kept dropping it. Like, pretty much everybody's targets and receptions matched.
Yeah,
and that's huge.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, and on the Bills side, Shakir, I think, is going to be a great Swiss Army knife type of player for them. Once, if he can stay healthy, I think he's going to be good to go. Stephon Diggs, 3 catches, 21 yards. That's embarrassing. Rashee Rice outplayed him as a rookie. That's embarrassing. If I'm Stephon Diggs, I go home and I give my money back to Buffalo, for fuck's sake. So,
he's never coming to Washington. Is that why you're being such a mean girl?
No, I'm just saying, if you're number one, show up, because he's loud. I would not be on him if he wasn't so fucking loud about himself. But he's so fucking loud about himself. And if you can't catch a 60-yard bomb against some kind of defense, motherfucker, get the fuck out of here. That's nonsense.
Anyway, I can't get out of my head, man. This fucking this song. From Mean Girls, the It's Not My Fault, because you really sound just like it's not my fault that you're in love with me. Like, you won't stop talking about Stephon Diggs like this, bro.
Renee rap. To me, who's honestly the Stephon Diggs of that film. Anyway, all right, so Sean Brennan. She's terrible in that movie. Still give the Chiefs no shot, Roca. Yes, but we'll talk about it. Let's take a quick break, as we got a half hour already on this game, and we'll jump into the other games here right after this. All right, we've got 75 of you hanging out with us, almost 80 of you actually hanging out with us right now. Thank you so much. Please make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit that subscribe button. We crossed 600 subscribers the other day, so thank you so much. Trying to get to 1,000. So I know a lot of you watch the show, so please make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit that bell button so you see we're dropping all the content we do here. I haven't checked the Streamlabs. Are you guys sending in Streamlabs? I want to make sure you're sending in Streamlabs so we can read your comments as we go along during the show. Let me check real quick, see if anybody. Oh, wow, we've got a few of them. All right. Hit them real quick. Fred Tastic says, hey, Outlaw, I completely agree. Oh, no, there's a different situation. Sorry. Haskell 420 says, Allen played great, and they had tons of missed chances. I won't say he is to blame for the loss, but that final drive, he fucked up big time and did not play situational football. 1:57 to go, down 3, 2nd and 9, the Kansas City 26, and each team had 2 timeouts. He had 2 open guys, 5 to 6 yards in front of him. Instead, airs it out incomplete. Clock stops. If he hits one of his guys, it's now either third and 5 or less. If the wide receiver makes a move, he may get the first down. 1st and 10 from KC 17 with the clock ticking. KC probably calls timeout. If Buffalo didn't get the first, it's now 3rd and short around the KC 20. Buffalo was running it well as Allen and closer, and Buffalo was running it well, as was Allen, and closer field goal chance. But because of the incomplete pass, it's 3rd and 9 with 1:51 to go. He has an open guy in front of him, but he throws incomplete into the end zone, and now it's a 43-yard field goal in the wind. Even if Allen did complete either touchdown pass, Casey's down 4, and you're giving Mahomes the ball back with either 1:51 to go or 1:45 to go, and they got 2 timeouts, then who knows? Yeah, I agree with you, brother, and thank you very much for the long Streamlabs, Haskell. I appreciate it. I agree with you 100%. Josh had been playing situational football the whole game. And in this moment, he went for the home run ball. And you're right. Even if it completes it, it's a touchdown. It's a touchdown way too early in the process. And you give Mahomes back the ball back with like a minute 50, minute 40 something on the clock. And all he's got to march down is do it. All he's got to do is march down and do a touchdown. Maybe your defense showed up because they would have, they were showing up in that fourth quarter. Maybe they stop them. But we've seen Buffalo defenses give up touchdowns to Mahomes in, as Winston said, 13 seconds. So maybe it wouldn't have happened either way. But I agree. Josh should have seen Diggs coming across, should have thrown that to Diggs. You work that clock down so that you score the touchdown with like 5 seconds left on the clock, Winston. You don't, or kick that field goal with 5 seconds left on the clock. You don't do it. You don't go for the bomb that early. That was a mistake.
I completely agree. That was that was a mistake because, like we said, 13 seconds was all it was needed last. And now, mind you, that was for a field goal. There's definitely a difference between getting down there to get into field goal range versus throwing a touchdown.
Yeah.
However, I think there's also a difference of you're behind, so score. Period. Like that's the baseline. There's like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's this idea of like if the situational football of it, if an A+ on that test is you score literally with no seconds left on the clock, like you wait and whittle it down and then score, that's an A+.
Yeah.
You could at least get a D- in that you score that touchdown with a minute and 48 seconds left for Patrick Mahomes and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Because then you're at least still technically passing at this point.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. He didn't even do that. And that ultimately cost them. And I get it. You went and you tried to get that kick to tie it up. And Bass, right? Like I think the announcers have to just, whenever they're like, oh, they're kicking a field goal, say nothing else. Because then they were like, Bass, what a clutch guy, always nails it. He's whiffed it sometimes, but it's very rare. Like when they need him, he always, oh shit. Oh, that reminds me. Now I remember what I needed to show you. Hold on a second.
Boy. I hope we don't get in trouble for this one. But
you're not going to get in trouble. This is hilarious.
Nance said wide right, the 2 words you don't want to hear in Buffalo. Perfect call. Perfect call by Nance to say that because, of course, for those of you old enough to remember Scott Norwood being wide right in the Super Bowl against the Giants. I will say this. Darryl Talley's wife posted a beautiful tweet because Scott Norwood's wife was in the stands. And when Bass went up to kick the ball and missed the field goal, Talley's wife immediately reached back and grabbed Scott Norwood's wife's hand in a moment of like, oh God, here we go again. And, you know, all Scott went through, they even made a movie about him. Fucking Ace Ventura is about Scott Norwood. So like that was a lot to endure for him. So I love that she posted that moment that she had with Norwood's wife there in the stands, like a sense of understanding and commiseration in this terrible situation. Because these are human beings. We go after them all we want. They're fucking human beings, man. And it's a tough situation to deal with, especially because like 99% of us will never be in that situation in our lives.
Absolutely. You'll never have that kind of pressure. You'll never, you know what I'm saying? So many different things. But I think the other thing that's really interesting is it's one thing if like the kicker was on the field like the quarterback a whole bunch, and so it was constantly up to him to do it.
Yeah, right.
It's once in a blue moon that you end up in these kind of situations. Not even a blue moon, but it's a lot rarer. So this whole idea, it's your only job, but again, you're not on the field all fucking game. And how many people like Roca? How many times have you been about to do like the hot mic and instead like you're only gonna get 30 seconds to talk, and you're spent the whole time. You have to get this exactly right. If you fumble a single word on the teleprompter, that's a wrap, and everybody's calling for your head. That's not, like you said, this is not a normal thing that people go through. So I genuinely think that like people need to give more grace to kickers. Now, if you're a kicker that is constantly missing, we can have a different conversation. Then you need to maybe not have your job, and you're not as good at this as you thought. But if somebody, even if it's in this big moment, you don't think they wanted more than anything for this to happen for them? Come on.
Of course.
But this is hilarious. This is I got to give Haskell credit for this. He sent this to me. This is the Korean broadcast of the kick wide right. And
don't get us in trouble.
Even if you're a Buffalo fan, I feel like you will laugh at this.
모든 문제를 다 땄어요. 그렇기 때문에 조시 앨런 선수가 오른쪽으로 나오면서 시간을 벌어봤지만 오픈된 리시버를 찾을 수 없었습니다. 44야드 거리입니다. 타일러 베스.
Wow.
오른쪽으로 벗어났어요.
That's everybody, isn't it? Everybody reacted.
Oh!
No!
It reminds me of the same, like, because I sometimes feel like we don't get the same energy here in America about how hyped up we are about stuff. Because it reminds me of like Latin announcers for soccer. Go!
Oh, yeah.
Oh God! Like it's very impassioned, and like this same thing. They're like, "Oh, yep, Tyler." I'm just imagining what they're saying. Yep, Tyler Bass. He's one of the most consistent kickers in the league. He's absolutely crazy. Can't wait to. Oh, wide range! Like that shit is amazing.
Let's take a look at someone who affected the kick here. A Buffalo fan, or sorry, Kansas City fan who affected.
I saw this.
Used the fan, which of course makes no sense to use the fan to blow it right when the fan is blowing. Right there. And so hilarious. He thought he blew the kick wide right. So there you go. It's terrible. I mean, it's terrible what some of these and you're seeing a lot of people crying and stuff in these TikToks. I spent an hour watching Buffalo fans reacting to the loss on TikTok. It is an interesting thing if you're a people watcher, but it's heartbreaking, but also fascinating to watch people's reactions.
I would honestly, I'm much happier with the way that we went out.
Yeah.
Than
what?
I know that
you what? Shut the no.
Let me explain. No. Let me explain.
Oh,
you didn't let me finish.
Oh, I didn't. No, go ahead.
Then what the Bills or the Packers went through, because that's true heartbreak. There's a point at which watching your team get blown out, you're mad, you're fucking furious, but you're just like, you know what? I just don't even care anymore. You know what I'm saying? There's a level of just like all of my hope is gone.
Yeah.
And so when that's the case, it's essentially, it's not a quick death, but it's the equivalent of one, because there's no, he's going to recover from that.
Right.
Versus watching that kick, watching the Jordan Love interception that we're about to talk about in just a second here.
Right.
That is truly heartbreaking because you had it. Yeah. Because I literally watched the Cowboys. The Dak Prescott didn't give the ball in time, and we're actually running up the field on the Niners, and you blow it. How many times did I see Tony Romo drop the field goal that needed to go to the next round, or throw that late interception? That is heartbreaking. That will ruin you for a while, because now you're just thinking about that one moment versus, this is a dumpster fire. Cool, I'm out.
Yeah, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I know for me in the Schmoedown experience, like having Ethan beat the shit out of me sucked. Losing on a 5-pointer to Jeff or to someone else that haunted me much more than getting my ass kicked. And so you're right. I mean, as a competitor, you almost prefer the ass kicking because you're like, you know what? I just didn't have it and I couldn't get it together and it was just a bad day. But coming close, it's those extra things when you're like, I could have done this, or I could have done that, or I should have done that.
Second guessing yourself.
Second guessing will absolutely destroy your mind.
Even better. I for as far as my profession as an actor, the auditions where I put the audition up and I didn't get a call back hurt significantly less than I'm in contract negotiations and they go, sorry, we went with the other guy.
Yeah.
That will ruin you. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And it genuinely did. I started second guessing everything about myself from it. And it took therapy for me to like break what was broken in my brain. So like, sometimes it's better to get blown out because then at least you don't have as much of your emotions and your mental sanity tied up in it.
It's easier to come back from that because it's more of an anomaly than it is an actual thing. Whereas, like you said, you can second guess it and it'll drive you insane for sure. But here's another thing. Number one doesn't do.
Running digs right out.
Just make it clear. Look, the ball is totally in your hands. For God's sakes, look at this. The defender just gives a little nudge. That should not be enough for you to miss the ball.
Not as a number one receiver, not making the money you make, not being as that, especially when you did the miracle in Minneapolis. That was you. Right. So like that's not even a miracle catch. That's just that's a good catch.
That's a good catch. And you just got lucky because the defender overcommitted in a moment. So yeah. All right. Anyway, let's move on. We're done with the Chiefs-Bills game. Let's move on to the 49ers and the Packers here. This one in rain-soaked San Francisco. The 49ers got the job done, 24-21. This was not a pretty game overall from the San Francisco point of view. Brock Purdy was underthrowing receivers, overthrowing receivers. It was tough to watch, but at the end of the game, in that final drive, when you needed him to show up, Brock Purdy showed up. Yes, was it sideline throws and checkdowns and handoffs to McCaffrey? Yes, but he got the job done. got them into the next round of the playoffs. But I think if anybody has questions on Purdy, they are absolutely valid. If anyone doesn't have questions on Purdy, I guess they're absolutely valid. Just to me, this is one of the most divisive quarterbacks left in the playoffs right now. You don't know how to feel. My good friend Amy Trask, who works for CBS Sports, was the co-owner or was the CEO of the Raiders. She called me last night, and we had a conversation about this situation with Purdy because her quote from her podcast that she does with Susie Schuster that went out, and a bunch of San Francisco fans who are not known to be the most level-headed people came after her and were like wanting to commit sexual violence towards her, death threats, telling her parents should have aborted her. Horrible stuff, these motherfuckers.
Who about what?
Oh yeah, all over Brock Purdy. We had a conversation last night just talking about Brock Purdy, and we're both in the same camp. We think that he's a good quarterback, but not a great quarterback, not a elite quarterback. Certainly the fourth best quarterback, including Goff, left in these playoffs. But this performance kind of underscored that. Jordan Love completely outplayed him, and Brock Purdy certainly had a couple of interceptions on deck that could have absolutely killed the game for the 49ers. It didn't happen, maybe because there's a rain soaked, maybe because the DBs aren't strong enough to catch the balls there for the Packers. But in the end, the 49ers outlasted these Packers. But man, I come away from this game more impressed by the Packers than I am about the 49ers. And losing Deebo Samuel clearly affected that offense. He is the most important part of that. You talk about McCaffrey. Without Deebo Samuel, they're a completely different team, and it shows. And I worry what's going to happen with them against these Lions if they don't have Deebo Samuel, because Green Bay showed no fear of these 49ers and almost beat them. Your thoughts on this game?
I think the biggest thing that and then people really do need to calm down, and they need to think with a level head here. If we're just being honest, Brock Purdy is an improved version currently of Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah.
He, I believe, has enough talent and is surrounded by the right coach that he can be better than that. And he had a great season statistically.
Yes.
But if you genuinely go and look, while there are some good deep passes, that's what you would expect out of somebody you would eventually be your franchise quarterback. Yeah. So if he wasn't making those every now and again, then this wouldn't even be a conversation about in the future he's going to X, Y, and Z.
Right.
But a vast majority of what he's doing right now is checking down or letting his receivers or his insane running back take a 3-yard pass and turn it into a 60-yard touchdown.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Yep. There are incredible plays that he is making. I will not take that away from him, but let's just genuinely use the eye test here. Yeah. He was dog shit most of the game. Like when you compared it to Love, all I was thinking is, my God, if Jordan Love was on the 49ers, this really wouldn't even be a question.
100% wouldn't even be a game. It'd have been a blowout.
I understand that Jordan Love threw an interception to end the game, but I'm talking about how he played most of this game. If the quarterbacks flipped, this would have been the same blowout that we just got from the Packers. So that's my thing. The Packers are definitely better than we thought, and they were filling themselves. Yeah. There is no reason they should have been giving the 49ers, which was considered one of the most dominant teams all year, this much work, that it came down to a last-minute defensive heroic to shut it down. Yeah. There's no reason when they're supposedly that good if Brock Purdy is that guy that much, like, at all. Yep. It doesn't make sense. And truthfully, if Deebo can't go, or if Deebo is limited for this NFC Championship game, I don't think they're going to make it out. I think the Lions, with that talent and with that heart and with that just that wanting and a yearning and a need, is going to be more than enough to handle their business. Yeah. And so that is my only critique. I am not saying that Brock Purdy is a scrub. He's not. He genuinely one day, I believe, will be the guy.
Yeah.
But somebody's saying that, Brock Purdy played with fear. Jimmy Garoppolo played with fear. Yeah, guess what? Brock Purdy does sometimes too. Sometimes
Brock Purdy was totally afraid they're in that game. You watch him.
You watch him. He hears steps. He's over anxiously throwing. And then it was like, bro, calm down.
Mm-hmm.
That's literally when you see McCaffrey, Ayuk, and Debo being like, bro, we here.
Yeah.
Calm down.
Yeah.
I'm not like it's so weird because Niners fans aren't gonna hear me. They're gonna be like, well, you're a Cowboys fan, you're just doing this because you ain't got whatever. I'm trying to tell you, man.
Yeah.
He can grow out of it. I truly believe he has the stuff to grow out of it.
Yeah.
But there's a reason a 3-game skid happened this year. There's a reason why the Ravens abused you.
Yeah.
5 turnovers that game, bro. If you're like, I don't think any of these supposed greats ever had 5 turnover games like that. They probably had like 3, but 5. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying he's not good, but he's just not this superhero that you think he is.
No,
not yet. I think he can get there, but I don't think he's there now. And anybody that's saying contrary to that, I feel like you got the rose-colored glasses on, man, because I don't want the Niners to succeed, but I do want fans to feel good about their shit. And this is just one of those reality checks. In the same way that we look at Dak all the time, and we go, yeah, he's got a lot of skills, but when the moments come down to crunch time, he kind of crumbles.
Yeah.
Opposite issue with Purdy. You don't want Purdy to wake up one day and look like a Tim Tebow situation, where like, cool, he can win you the game if you're there at the very end, but like, are you going to even be in the game to get to that point?
Yeah. Or Jake Delhomme. I mean, like, I think if Purdy doesn't play this right, Purdy is lined up to be a journeyman. And that's what I think when you're looking at the situation. Because, I mean, what other places are you going to go to and have that many weapons and be able to do the things that he's doing? Look, he completed a 17-yarder, certainly completed a 9-yarder on that drive. So all respect, he did what needed to be done, right? He showed up at the end there, got it done. They did enough. The defense came in. But, I mean, the reports came out this week that the 49ers had told him that they were going after Tom Brady and that he would be Tom Brady's backup this season, and he was going to have to accept that if Tom Brady had unretired and said he was going to come back and play for San Francisco. So that was in play. And so that's how little the 49ers, no matter how much Deebo Samuel, I saw Deebo Samuel come back at Ryan Clark, which is totally within his right. I don't disrespect that.
I think you should. That's your quarterback.
2 NFL players going at it. I'm not going to get in the middle of that. They know what they're talking about. They played the game. But like sitting there reading that thing, I'm like, yeah, no matter what they say about how much they love Purdy and think Purdy's great, the fact that you were trying to get Tom Brady to unretire at his age to take the job shows me that you didn't 100% have a lot of faith in Brock Purdy, even after he'd done what he did last year. So that is something that's a concern. So you don't want that shit coming out right before an NFC Championship game. It means it makes it feel like the organization doesn't believe in you, and that can affect your confidence in a situation there against the Lions.
There's also 2 things that I really want to point out, because I still I'm not coming for you, Andrew, at all, but this is a lot of the arguments that I see a lot of people that are hardcore Brock Purdy stands kind of say. So like, bro, it's a second year. Y'all holding him the standard of an 8-year vet.
Mahomes went to 2 AFC championships in his second year, for fuck's sake. Go ahead.
That's not even what I was going to get at.
Go.
I was going to get at there's 2 things. First of all, the Niners, the entire mentality is Super Bowl victory or bust.
Yes.
So if that's the case, then you would want, I'm like, I know this sounds silly, but the way that people that are Brock Purdy fans talk about him, they talk about him like he's Josh Allen, like he's Joe Burrow, like he's Patrick Mahomes. Are you telling me that you would prefer Brock Purdy over any of those 3? Let's say Burrow doesn't have his kind of injury prone situation. It's just Burrow. You're telling me that you would prefer Brock Purdy over those 3 quarterbacks, or Lamar Jackson? This is a serious question. That's the first thing. And then the second thing is, what did we say about the Eagles all season? And Eagles fans would not hear it until it actually happened.
Yeah.
If you spend all this time, kind of barely squeaking it out, making these mistakes, and then it's kind of like eventually it catches up with you.
It does, yeah.
If Brock Purdy is going to get to the Super Bowl and play that Ravens defense again, if he does not figure out how to be the final drive Brock Purdy through that whole game, you're not going to be talking about, well, he's a second year, man. Like, he did his best. You're going to be fucking pissed. Yeah. So let's just be honest about it. And that, again, I think the kid is talented. Totally. I think by the time this is said and done, that Brock Purdy will have won, I'll even say it, 2 Super Bowls.
Ooh.
I think he will be a 2-time champion by the time his career's over. I think the kid might even win an MVP.
Wow.
I genuinely think that whether it's because of this team or the growth that he will do, that he will be the dude. But let's just be honest about what we're seeing. So much promise that is unrefined, and he's not that guy yet. He's not. There are plenty of other players that are outplaying him, and his stats are overinflated right now because he is surrounded by the incredible situation that is this Niners defense, this Niners offense, and Kyle Shanahan driving the stick right now. Because you could have said that about, I would make the comparison for Brock Purdy to Jared Goff. And the reason why I would say that is when you look at that Rams team that went to that first Super Bowl, man, Goff wasn't ready.
Yeah.
If I'm being honest, Goff was not ready, but that defense with Aaron Donald, like you had the on and off with Gurley. Unfortunately, he got hurt by the time they got to the actual Super Bowl. Right. That team was put together to handle their business, but Goff wasn't ready. And then when it came time to play the Super Bowl, that defense was too much for him, and the best he could do was 3 points.
Yeah.
Goff is ready. Goff is ready now. Yeah. He's ready now. Yeah. And I genuinely think that he's ready to go do what needs to happen. So that's all I'm saying. Let's just be realistic about what's happening. Nobody's saying that Purdy is a scrub. They're just saying he is not fully developed yet.
Yeah. I agree. And the thing that I'm concerned about when you look at Brock Purdy is that when he's missing weapons, the cracks start to show. And that's a scary situation when you're looking at an offense that is put together like this to go and win a Super Bowl, right? And you're right. The dangers now come with a hungry Lions team that feels destined, marching into your stadium, and I don't know if it's going to rain or not rain, because a lot of people are trying to blame the rain on Brock Purdy's performance. Never mind that Jordan Love was balling out like crazy during that game. And look, the last interception, whatever. It's a terrible situation. He threw against his body. It's funny. We got a mirror of Scott Norwood going wide right with Bass going wide right. And we got a mirror of Jordan Love throwing the interception like Favre threw the interception playing for the Vikings against the Saints. So,
it's not Detroit. This is the Super Bowl.
Exactly. So you look at the situation here and you're like, okay, that's a shame. But Jordan is set, man. I mean, it's incredible that they're going from Favre to Rodgers to Jordan Love. Like, what a gifted a team there with the Packers. Kind of like with the Colts for a little bit when they went from Manning to Andrew Luck. Great situation there. So, you want to see what happens. But I just don't think that Purdy I think Purdy is going to have some struggle against these Lions, man. They are hungry. They're driven. And if you get past them, you're going to face who I think is the hungriest team in the NFL right now, and as the Ravens.
Bro.
And so I think the Ravens are going to actually manhandle motherfucking Brock Purdy and those 49ers. So
if Hawkeye out here, Mr. Brock Purdy, don't have the Avengers to help him take on Thanos, which is Lamar Jackson and his entire armada.
Yeah, true.
Hawkeye ain't beating Thanos, bro. He ain't beating Thanos. And so that's the whole that's all I'm saying is I believe that he can get to the point where he can be the reason that they win.
Yeah.
But there is a higher probability that he is the reason why they lose. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. All right. I don't know if I can find it on Twitter, but I saw someone post the Avengers record with Hawkeye and the Avengers record without Hawkeye, and they are terrible without Hawkeye, and they're undefeated with Hawkeye. So I thought it was.
So wait a minute. Let me do the math here because
like here you go. Avengers win-loss record 7-0 with Hawkeye, 0-4 without or against Hawkeye. So don't call Purdy Hawkeye because Hawkeye is undefeated as a member of the Avengers.
But that's my point. And I think that's the thing. So what's Hawkeye doing all of those things that the Avengers had to do by himself?
Right.
Hawkeye ain't fighting the T'Chari by himself.
No.
Hawkeye ain't fighting Ultron by himself. Hawkeye, he's not doing any of that, but he is a key element. That's the difference. I believe that Brock Purdy is a key element to this team. I'm not taking that away from him. I do think that you could plug like you're not plugging Derek Carr in there. Derek Carr's got a lot of demons. There's a lot of, you know what I'm saying? You're not plugging Jameis Winston. I don't even think you would plug in Trevor Lawrence. I'm starting to have questions about Trevor Lawrence at this point.
You should have questions
about
Trevor Lawrence.
But if you put, like, I understand that, like, he unfortunately has been losing a lot, but there's a lot of bad coaching. You put Justin Herbert with the 49ers? Are you kidding me?
Oh,
that's my point, is that Brock Purdy is doing what he needs to do up to a point, but there are definitely people that are able to do it better.
Yeah.
They just don't, let's just be real about, I think it's this argument about Nepo babies in Hollywood. There are some that genuinely you're like, you just got there because your mama is so-and-so. And then there's others where you go, okay, you got here because your daddy is so-and-so, but you're actually a good actor.
Yeah.
I think this is the same thing. He can have credit for the situation of, like, no. I think he's a good quarterback, but, like, you were gifted. You were born on third base, bro. Like, come on. You were drafted into the fucking red zone.
Yeah. That's a fair point. Yeah. Okay, so all right, so let's take another break because we've been 25 minutes on that game. Let's take one more break, and we're going to jump into the rest of the games here and talk about our predictions and a little Caitlin Clark action as well right after this. Did you hear Winston say about Caitlin Clark? Oh.
What? No, I didn't. I said, I just said, as in, like, oh, got you. Don't do that. Don't start no shit. Don't start no shit. Won't be no shit, Roka.
Don't start no shit. Don't be no shit. Oh, wait. Oh, shit. Winston, got to get your thoughts on this. This is just coming over the wire on ESPN. The Milwaukee Bucks are firing their first-year head coach, Adrian Griffin, according to Woj. The Bucs are planning to quickly pursue a small pool of accomplished and available veteran head coaches, including Doc Rivers. Oh, that fucking mother!
I wouldn't. Look, man. I like Doc Rivers as a person. I wouldn't do that.
Giannis.
Don't.
Veteran assistant Joe Prutney is expected to take over as interim coach. Milwaukee hired Griffin over the summer to replace Budenholzer. They are 30-13 and number 2 in the Eastern Conference. Why are they firing this guy?
Are they on a skid? They're on a 2-game winning streak. I don't. Yeah, there must have been something going on in the locker room. That's the only thing I can think of
over the last 10 games, brother. The 30-13. Yeah. What is going on?
Something must have gone on. That's my only guess, man. Because that's weird.
Yeah, that is super weird. That does not happen. You don't. I mean, I think the last time I saw this is when LeBron had them fire with David, what's his face, to put Tyrone Lue in charge of the Cavaliers. But even then, it had gone on, I think, further down the road in the year, and they were having some struggles. But they're in second place,
bro. He must have gotten a fight with, like, Dame and Giannis or something. I must have been Giannis. He must have fought with Giannis, and they were like, "You need to get the fuck out." Like, you don't piss off Giannis, bro. That's the only thing that makes sense. I don't know what else you would.
Wait, I gotta play this one tweet. This guy says, I knew Adrian Griffin was gone when I saw Giannis drawing up plays on the bench last night. Anyway, well, I'm sure more stuff's going to come out. You're probably right. Like what happened with Ime Udoka over in Boston. Maybe there's some stuff behind the scenes. Who knows? We'll find out for sure. Oh, Goddard's in here. What's up, Goddard? Good to see you. Time to start. Giannis is a diva talk, to be honest.
I don't know, man. Giannis
30-12, man.
30-12. He got a chip. He got an MVP. I don't know. Like, even, I mean, I guess he technically could be a diva, but like, even I have yet to see. All I see Giannis go, I love Oreos. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I hear Giannis go. I'd be like, I like Uno. Like, that's Uno. He had a whole brand of shoes. I have 2 of the 5 sets of shoes he put out that were of his favorite game, Uno. So, like,
flip it, man, flip it. All right, let's move on to the next game here. What do I got? The Lions. Yeah, let's move on to the Lions here. 31-23. Take care of business against these Buccaneers. The game, Buccaneers. Baker Mayfield, I thought, played really well, balled out. Unfortunately, not enough weapons. I thought there was some questionable offensive play call, especially when they could have called a timeout near the end of the game and forced the Lions to kick a field goal, and maybe the Lions miss and maybe the Bucs get the ball back and maybe they go down and tie the game. Who knows? So it was weird play calling there at the end. I don't know why you leave a timeout in the holster at the end of a game here. But the Lions, Goff was 30 of 43 for 287 yards, 2 touchdowns. Jahmyr Gibbs had a nice day, 9 rushes for 74 yards. Amon St. Brown had himself 77 yards receiving with a touchdown. Here, Josh Reynolds got himself a touchdown as well on the Lions side. On the Bucs side, Baker, 349 yards passing, 3 touchdowns. Unfortunately, 2 interceptions, which did cost him the game here. Rashid White, 55 yards rushing. You got to fix that rushing situation. But Mike Evans balled out like a motherfucker. Again, 8 catches, 147 yards, 1 touchdown. Cade Otton got himself a touchdown, and so did Rashad White. Got himself a touchdown. But in the end, the Lions just did what they needed to do. There was a little bit of a scare, but then they handled their business there in that second half. So I thought this was a good game that they needed after that game against the Rams. They needed to come out and not get caught up with, oh, we got 1 victory. Yay. They actually had a methodical victory here, and they have confidence now going into San Francisco. What do you think of this game? What do you take away from both these teams, brother?
Here I pulled up this interception because I really think it just comes down to this, man, because you had Mike Evans again with another, I think he had like 13 or 1400 yards this season.
It's the 10th season in a row, which has never happened before. 1300 yards receiving.
But check this out real quick. Like, so we're just looking at this interception. It's just so costly, man. Like you really didn't take time to see that read, because again, if you look at it right there, the defender is already under and crossing. He's waiting. And I think I do think that Baker Mayfield is significantly better than what the Browns put on him. And the proof was that as he went into LA after just 2 seconds. And was rolling for a minute. I don't think he was the right answer. Obviously, Stafford came back, but he is better than he is being given credit for. And the proof is that they were in this position in the first place. You know what I'm saying?
Agreed.
And I don't think you give him a mega contract. I think you just get real with him and you go, look, man, we do have a history that we've seen out of you. Whether or not it was from a shitty situation in Cleveland or a shitty situation in Carolina, because I also don't think that's a good indicator, because Carolina is a dumpster fire of an organization. What quarterback has been successful there since they lost the Super Bowl?
Since Cam. Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Since they lost the Super Bowl, because they weren't the same after that Super Bowl loss.
100%. And
it's just been a complete devastation since Darnold was not good. Bryce Young so far is not good. I think it's some parts Bryce Young, but again, he's a rookie. I think it's mainly that organization. So I'm not even putting that on Baker. So again, he had some bad games throughout the year. He feels like a middle of the pack quarterback, but good enough that he can get you some solid wins. The question becomes, since he already got you a playoff victory, he got you the division. Do you believe that he is the quarterback that can potentially take you further? If you do, then you offer him a mid to high contract. If you don't, and you don't feel like anything's on the market, you offer him a mid to low contract and see if he's willing to stick around for a bit, and then you figure it out, because you aren't necessarily stacked in the type of way that you feel like you can just magically get there tomorrow. There's way too many super stacked teams. I think if the Eagles figure out their coaching situation, they're right back in the mix. If the Cowboys can figure out their coaching situation and their yips, they're back in the mix. The Niners are going to be the Niners for a while. The NFC, I know everybody loves to harp on the AFC, but the NFC genuinely is pretty stacked. So you just have to make that decision. Do you want to kind of lean more towards the rebuild because Mike Evans, he's owed a contract now? Are you going to pay Mike and Baker? Or do you want to just kind of be like, all right, guys, let's start retooling? That's the question.
It's a good question. Because, you look at the situation with Baker this season. He put up career highs in passing touchdowns, 28 passing yards. He passed for 4,000 yards. And
great for him, man. I'm happy for him.
I agree. 64%. It seems look what happens when you stop doing commercials and focus on football, which I've been saying for years about him. This is and people are interested. Other teams need quarterbacks. So Tampa Bay has a real question to ask themselves, and so does Baker. Great, I can take the money and go to a shittier team, or do I stay here, take a little bit less, let them use the money to build up more of the offense, more of the defense, so that I can have an even better chance of winning? That's a situation. Look, Cade Otton's a good tight end. He's got Mike Evans. there's maybe another receiver they can get out there, maybe a better running back they can find, because I know the running backs came in handy when Tom Brady was quarterback in those Buccaneers with Fournette and what have you. So I think that's a possibility here with Baker. Like, take a little bit less money, let them use that money to get better players. What do you lose? You lose nothing. You've made your money. And focus on seeing if you can take this team to shock people to the NFC Championship. Baker Mayfield in the Super Bowl, which was ridiculous 2 years ago, doesn't seem so ridiculous now after this season for Tampa Bay. And you're right at the end, throwing that interception. Those are the things that frustrate you about Baker Mayfield, just like it frustrates you about Josh Allen there at the end. It's those little mini mistakes at critical moments that separate the great ones from being elite. So if you can find a way to mentally get through the Baker, that you didn't need to make a pass like that with this much time left in the game, then hopefully you can do better.
Just go through your progressions a little bit, and some of that is training, and some of that is just skill as far as like, does your eye see that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like, is that a situation where you see what is happening? And I can't really decide here, because watching it just happened fast enough.
Yeah.
That you should have been able to clock that blue jersey sitting right there, because he definitely was in front of that receiver.
Totally.
So you either need to lead it a little more to the left, or you need to go high, but you threw it directly to that Lions linebacker. And that's, boy.
And he only got $4 million this year. So any upgrade is an upgrade. I mean, jumping to 30 is madness. So
I mean, to be honest with
20.
I mean, dude, I think that he even said it himself. He said he was thankful for the Bucs opportunity and he hopes to return. I hope that for his sake that they do, because I genuinely like the kid. I think the only thing that ever bothered me about Baker Mayfield was, like you said, he was too busy doing progressive commercials after one rookie outing that was like not even CJ Stroud level. If you were doing CJ Stroud shit, then I would be like, yeah, okay. Yeah. But like he had a good year. Yeah. But it wasn't mind-blowing. Right. And then all of a sudden he's in every single commercial, and it clearly showed that he thought his shit didn't stink. Yeah. Awesome. So I think for his sake, I fucking hate this construction zone. I just like the bulldozer is literally outside my fucking window, and I want to go out. If that helps, dude, I want to go at this worker the way that dude went at that judge, and I'll take the time. That's fine. I just like
another black man in prison. We don't need you going to prison, Winston.
It's fine. We'll just say that we were roughhousing. It's a black dude. Like we'll just say we were practicing tackles. That's what that was. So but yeah, man, I hope for Baker's sake that he gets another opportunity with them. I hope that they pay him again. I don't think he needs to be paid like any top tier quarterback. I think you can give him like a middle of the range contract. And again, hopefully he had a good business manager, because those progressive commercials aren't cheap. Nope. And they were a lot of them. So like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you should have money. It's just, you want to make sure that you're really set up for life at the, not that he shouldn't be already, but like, you know, as a player, give him a middle of the ground or middle of the road contract. I'm sure he'd be happy with it, because it's better than what he's been offered in the recent years. And then you can use the rest of the money to make sure you sign Mike and sign other key elements to take you to the next level.
Sounds good. Winston, I got to put you solo here for a few minutes. We have someone at the door I've got to handle at the house. So will you talk the Ravens game?
Absolutely.
And I'll put you solo, and I'll be back guys in a little bit.
Absolutely. I can do that. All right.
Banner as well, so that you're not covered by. There we go.
I appreciate it, y'all. All right. So our last game that we're going to cover, y'all, this was the game that we thought we might see a rookie try and do a little bit of an upset, but it was not enough for the presumptive MVP in Lamar Jackson, as he ended up beating the Texans 34-10 to get to the AFC title game. Now, just looking at some of the actual stats here, you saw Lamar Jackson with only 152 yards in the air and 2 touchdowns, but he had 100 on the ground and 2 touchdowns there as well. And I think we're starting to see a lot of the analysts, a lot of people in sports start to put a little more respect on Lamar's name, and that you would constantly hear, oh, but he's not a pocket quarterback. He's not doing this and that and the other. But when you look at these, you know, he was 16-22. When you look at these passes, glowing in the pocket. Like, he was spending more time taking and reading his progressions and making sure. And then if it wasn't open, he would use his legs, or they would have a specific designed run play. And that ends up being a massive problem, because now you don't know what to do. Do you put the spy in there? Do you stack the box? Do you have all the DBs out? You really don't have a direct answer to be able to deal with him. CJ Stroud having an okay game, you know, with only 175, but no touchdowns at all. Didn't get sacked, but like you weren't seeing the offense score at all. As a matter of fact, the only scores that we were seeing here was a defensive touchdown and a field goal. That's it with those 10 points, man. Devin Singletary wasn't doing that great. Only 9 carries for 22 yards. Nico Collins, the best receiver out there with 5 receptions and 68 yards. But again, these Ravens just came on too strong. You're not seeing a situation where you had any one player truly take over other than Lamar Jackson, who was clearly the best player on the field. But Zay Flowers doing what he needs to do. Only 4 receptions for 41 yards. But again, everybody was there when they needed him to be. Everybody having a key moment, and that defense being the defense. Hell, even Dalvin Cook got in the mix and had a great he had 8 carries this game. Remember, he was let go from the Jets and signed by the Ravens late here in the end of the season. Had a 19-yard run, which was really big for him to see him get back into it, man. So when I was watching this game, I was actually in the middle of vision boarding. I was trying to figure out what am I going to do with my life in 2024, right? And honestly, I got the decision that I need to go print out a picture of Lamar Jackson and slap that up on there, man, because I feel like the biggest thing that Lamar did this year, he took all of the stuff that people were criticizing him for, and he decided to take the quote-unquote weakness and make it a strength. And now I don't see any weaknesses really in Lamar's game. That's what's crazy. I would still, if you ask me today, who am I taking to start my franchise with? I'm still taking Patrick Mahomes. But now you're having this like conversation, honestly, where like if Patrick Mahomes is Superman, I keep using Superman as a reference here. Lamar Jackson's out here being Captain Marvel. Same kind of strength, speed, all that kind of stuff, or excuse me, Shazam, however you want to talk about. I'm not talking about Carol Danvers. I'm talking about Billy Batson here. There's this thing again with Mahomes. Mahomes is Mahomes. He's just done all sorts of incredible stuff with it, et cetera, et cetera. But Shazam is not something to be scoffed at. Like, he is a baller. That he has won fist fights with Superman before. You know what I'm saying? He does a few things that Superman can't do. So there's definitely a lot of stuff that can be thrown in there. My guy has got the sauce. So I say all that to say, let's see. I see some comments here. I don't think it'll let me pull it up because I'm the guest here and not one of the hosts. But I see Sean said, Winston, do you think people will make excuses for Lamar if he loses to Mahomes the way they did for Josh Allen? No, I don't. I genuinely don't, especially because he's going to win MVP. So if he doesn't, get in that last moments or whatever like that, they're going to completely trash him. I know that. I genuinely know that. Even if he had like a 400-yard game with 4 touchdowns, 2 through the air, 2 on the ground, if he doesn't get it at the very end there, I truly believe he's not going to catch the same kind of respect. There's some obvious ones. I'm not gonna jump immediately into like the race category of it all. But I think the main reason why they will, that's definitely a reason why some people will not give him the same kind of grace. I think the main reason will be the Ravens are a much better team than the Bills. I think that the Bills are Josh Allen. There's a lot of incredible players on that team. The Stephon Diggs, the James Cooks. There's a lot of really key pieces there. But when you look at how stacked the Ravens are, first of all, they kept the complaint that was being had is that Lamar has nobody to throw it to. And hell, you lost your star tight end and Mark Andrews, but that was like your really only target. You went and got Zay Flowers in the draft, who's been an absolute stud and is in the conversation for Rookie of the Year. He's not even close to winning it because of Stroud here, but he's in the conversation for it just because of that. You went and got Odell Beckham Jr., who like may not be the same crazy receiver he was for the Giants at the start of his career, but he's still the guy and made key plays all season and has become a veteran voice to help these other receivers develop. Nelson Aguilar, who never truly was that guy that he needed to be for the Eagles, came over to the Ravens here and has had an incredible season. Like, they have all been good, but what's even crazier is Lamar has made them even better. And that to me is like one of the big things that is really interesting to see, is to see the development of this team. So I do believe that there will be some dog whistle reasons why people will give Lamar shit if he doesn't beat Mahomes. But I think a majority of the reasons that people will be giving him shit is because this team has been the unstoppable team all season. This team went and got every single piece that needed to be had, and they are very good. And I think if Lamar doesn't get it here with this team, I don't know when he would.
Yeah.
I don't know how much of that you heard, Roka.
I heard, but, last 5 minutes. Sorry about that, but we have people coming over to work on stuff.
All good.
Landlord.
All good.
But yeah, 100%. I think this is the team tailor-made for him, and it's all been set up in this way. And look, the Texans gave him trouble in the first half, and I thought that was a great reflection of the Ravens needing to be like, we need to believe in ourselves. And Lamar was yelling at those players in the second half. I thought that was going to blow up in his face, but they actually rallied and listened to him because Lamar, it's finally time for him to say, this is my team. Get the fuck on my back and let's go. And that seems to be the approach that they took. And the players listened and they responded with a hell of a second half. So this is going to be interesting. And we should probably transition into the predictions for this weekend's games, man. As we've, I'm sure you talked it all there with the Ravens and Texas, all positive stuff. CJ Stroud, we're going to see what's going to happen. CJ Stroud, Jordan Love, that's exciting things to be looking forward to next season as these quarterbacks grow up. And who knows? Maybe we'll see a Jordan Love versus CJ Stroud Super Bowl in our very near future. It's certainly possible. All right, let's look at this thing. Winston, Chiefs at the Ravens, which is popping off at 12 p.m.
Real super quick. I wanted to do just a small little plug before we get into it. It actually has to do with what's going on. So obviously, as we know, like you said, we've got Chiefs and Ravens, and then we've got the Niners and the Lions. So my buddy Vince Marchbanks, he is jokingly, I met him playing dodgeball, and it's not even a joke. He's known as the LeBron James of dodgeball.
Nice.
And I say that to say, you can bring up the photo real quick if you don't mind. I said to say, if you go and look at any of his posts, I mean, the man's been on ridiculousness. Like even Kobe was commenting on him and how good he is. But he is an architect by trade and then a designer period. And he started his own custom shoe business here. And some of his shoes are absolutely phenomenal. And all of these mock-ups you see right here of the four remaining teams look absolutely incredible. But he actually just delivered some shoes to Benny Blanco. The super famous music producer. Let me pull that up real quick. You see him giving the shoe shees, which are pretty cool. So if you're looking for any sort of kind of step your swag up, because Lord knows I'm all about swag, you have absolutely got to hit up Vince. You can find him at V Marchbanks on Instagram. You can send him a DM, and he is taking those shoe orders. And again, he does everything. It's not just sportsmen. He did these Skeletors, which are pretty cool. Let's see, what else did I see here? He did the sushis. He got these Sullys that he did for the Monsters Inc. fans, man. Awesome. He did some Caspers. Like it really is like these just here are some of the Niners he did previously, which are pretty dope. So I know there's a lot of Niner gang people in here. Now there's some disgusting ones in here that like we don't really want to talk about. But you're going to them anyway. Okay. I'm gonna show it because I want my mans, like he did these Rams ones, which are cool. I want my mans to get the work and whatnot. Let me see if I can find him real quick. Maybe he took him down, which would make me happy. Oh man, where is it? More than look at this. No. I know he might have taken it down, which is fine. Okay. There was some pretty sickly designed Eagle shoes. Made me sick though. They're Oh wow. With the Philly skyline on the back. So nice. Like there's definitely some dope stuff that he's done, man. But yeah, I would definitely say if you are interested in that, if you're looking for a really dope, you gotta make it happen, man. Okay. So what's his name? Yeah. Vince Marchbanks. All right, Vince. So again, V Marchbanks, VMarchbanks. Nice. Check it out. Send him a DM, and you can get your order on, man. In case you're watching this, Vince, I'm going to take you international, bro. Why don't you make me a pair of Liverpool shoes? That would be awesome. All right. Maybe put the Liverpool skyline on the edges there, but like a Liverpool pair of shoes, brother. Let me know if you can do that. How much that would cost. I'm down. I would wear those and promote those on all my. I know you would, dude. You know the worst part is. You know what the worst part is? I actually was having him design me some Cowboys, and after that blowout, I said I need some time. I just need some time. I might switch to the Black Panthers that you were displaying, man. I need some time with the Cowboys. I can't do this right now.
Awesome.
But for sure. I'll connect you guys, man. I'm sure he would love to do the Liverpool.
Come on, little Salah. That would be awesome.
Ooh, here's one more, real quick.
Okay.
This was the again for film fans, and I know you're a big Jurassic Park person, aren't you?
Perry is, but
well, then maybe we let Perry know. But he did these Jurassic Parks, which were pretty dope, man. Wow. So yeah, definitely. And anime fans as well. You got the Kid Boos; those were dope.
Nice.
So yeah. Anyway, all righty, that's the plug. Let's talk about these games, man. So you said you want to talk Ravens Chiefs first?
Yeah, Chiefs and Ravens here. Mahomes versus Jackson. The movable, what's it? The immovable force versus the whatever object. 12 p.m. PT. I don't know how it works. I'm out of breath. 12 p.m. PT for God's sakes. 3 p.m. ET. All right, what do you think? What's going to happen? Who's going to win? What's the deal?
I think for the sake of swag surfing being saved, because it's not even that Taylor Swift was doing swag surfing. It's that then white people everywhere is like, what's this new Taylor Swift dance that's happening? And I'm just like, oh God. I actually think that the Ravens have this pretty handily. I don't think that it's a blowout, but I think it is a very convincing, probably 24-17.
Yeah.
I genuinely think that it will be a close game, but it's not a close game. And it's not because the Chiefs haven't turned it on.
Is this a black dance?
Yes, this is so that's the problem. This was originally
white people co-opting a black dance. So
it's not like that doesn't happen. I mean, now mind you, yes. Now mind you, as far as the swag surfing goes, it was something that I can't remember which player it was on the Chiefs that was like, we need to get this going, and so the Chiefs fans have adopted it. That's not my problem. But the problem is then all of a sudden you saw people on the internet, you saw Swifties, you saw like Fox News pundits. They're like, what's this new dance that Taylor started at the Chiefs game? And I'm like, I'm going to kill somebody. Like, I have no beef against Taylor. Go support your man. You're just dancing with the crowd. That's fine. It's this trickle down Negronomics that happens that the minute like all of a sudden white people get a hold of something, they go, what's that? Oh, we invented something new. No, you didn't. No, you fucking didn't. That's been around since 09. Niggas been doing that at every wedding possible, bro. God damn. Anyway, I genuinely think though that it's not that the Chiefs haven't woken up. They have. And it's not that you don't have Superman, but I think this is that fight where Captain Marvel got the edge here, bro. Shazam has got the edge for those that I've been watching old Justice League episodes, and that was before they made the full transition to Shazam over using his name of Captain Marvel. I just genuinely think, man, that this is the Ravens' year. I understand that Mahomes is Mahomes. I understand that they finally woke up and they have that defense, but the Ravens defense is better. Lamar is genuinely just playing better. The receiving core is better. The only thing that the Chiefs have over is that you would always give the edge just a little bit to Mahomes over Lamar, but Lamar is in a moment right now. And then just from the situation of, they got Kelsey. Your answer to that is Mark Andrews, and he's not around. But that overall
he's coming back. Yeah.
Is he going to be back for the game?
Yeah, they said he'd be back by this week. So you add Mark Andrews to the mix.
Then you're really in trouble. No. What did I say last week? I said that about the Bills. But the difference is the Bills are not the Ravens.
You won by 3 points against a team that was missing 15 of its fucking players. Come on.
And Sean, that's fine. I would expect you to pick the Chiefs because you're using your heart here, but I'm using my head. What team has really been a major thorn in the Ravens side this year? Right. Specifically this year, like manhandled the best teams in the league. Like the Niners was arguably the only team that could stop the Ravens, and it wasn't a contest. So I don't think any other team is on the Ravens level right now. I just genuinely don't.
Okay. Yeah, I think Ravens win 45-10. I think it's an absolute destruction. Yeah. That's what I think is going to happen. And
that's a blood feud.
Remember,
that's a blood feud.
The last time Winston doubted me, the Cowboys lost 45-10. So I'm telling you right now, I think these Ravens are going to lose 45-10. As you said, the Ravens are fucking monster built. This is you coming out of a prison that you thought you were tough in and going to a real prison and really taking on like hardcore motherfuckers, and you are going to get beat up. These Ravens are going to beat up the pretty boy Chiefs, and it ain't going to be nice. And I just have a feeling. Now, I'm not saying I'm not comparing them to prisoners. There's white guys on the team. Please, I'm not saying that. Don't twist what I'm saying. I'm just saying there's some hard motherfuckers in prison, and I personally wouldn't want to go toe to toe with them. So you look at this situation here. I think these Ravens are hungry junkyard dogs, and they are ready to come at these Chiefs and absolutely smash them. If the Bills, had a chance to beat you guys right at the end, that tells me there's still questions about this Chiefs team. Remember, there were 3 drives in that second half when the Chiefs could have put the game away, and Mahomes couldn't get the job done on 3 straight drives. So that tells you that that Superman can be cut. The Russian can be cut. Superman can die. And I think these Ravens are just salivating, waiting for these Chiefs to show up and destroy them.
Because my other question is, what defenses has Patrick played this postseason?
The Bills, which was missing 7 of its starters, and who else did they play?
And then the Dolphins,
and the
which
Dolphins,
is not a good defense. They had. So first of all, to my knowledge, the Ravens defense is fully healthy. Second of all, they are the best defense in the league.
Yeah.
And third of all, again, this is where I think not having a home game. Obviously, he proved that he can play on the road. You got to give Patrick Mahomes credit for what he did in Buffalo.
Sure.
But this is where now when you're dealing with a team firing on all cylinders, like
Right.
there's no hangups, and you're in Baltimore.
Ooh, yeah.
Bro, there's a reason why the Ravens-Steelers games, even the regular season ones, are like Holyfield, Tyson, over and over and over and over. Like, oh.
Yeah. And the Chiefs have not played a quarterback like Lamar. You haven't played a quarterback like Lamar. And what he's doing right now, he's next
talent. Don't do that. I'm not going to let you keep doing that.
This season, they haven't played a quarterback like Lamar. He's going to be able to run. He's going to be able to throw. He's going to be able to run over your linebackers, and he's going to unsettle your defense. Remember, the Bills put up 24 points on this vaunted Chiefs defense that had not given up 30 points. They were one pass away, one lineman hitting Josh Allen away from giving up 31 points in a game, which they had not done all season. This is the playoffs. Sphincters get tight. People question themselves. People overthink moments, like Andy Reid with that fancy McCole Hardman bullshit that blew up in his face. People overthink moments. The Ravens don't choke in the playoffs. The Ravens lose in the playoffs. They don't choke in the playoffs. There's a difference. I've seen that under Harbaugh. That team comes ready to play. Sometimes they don't have enough talent to win the game, but they never choke. And so I think what you're seeing here is a team that is tailor-made and ready-built for the Chiefs. And the Chiefs, just like the Eagles, just like these other teams, they've been put together by paste and tape and kind of fixed together, and they've done the job as far as they can go. Now they're playing a team that is fully healthy, and if Andrews is coming back, they're fully healthy on both sides of the ball, and they are going to pose a lot of problems for that Chiefs defense. Plus, you're in Baltimore, so you won't have the favorable stands cheering you on. This is going to be a lot tougher, and I think the Ravens will just absolutely smother them as the game goes along, and it'll mirror what Tom Brady and the Bucs did to the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. It'll have shades of that, in my opinion. That's my thoughts. All right, let's move on to blood feud. Let's move on to Lions at 49ers here. This game is at 12:30 or 6:30 p.m. ET, 3:30 p.m. PT on our side of the coast here. Winston, this one, Deebo Samuel is about 50-50 to come back from that shoulder injury he had against the Packers here. And the Lions have signed Eagles and Cardinals tight end.
No. You say it right. You mean Julie Ertz's world champion Julie Ertz's wife.
Julie Ertz's husband, Zach Ertz, has signed with the Detroit Lions ahead of the game.
World champion Julie Ertz's husband.
Both of them are world champions.
They are.
I didn't know you could pick up world caliber players off the trash heap and put them on your team before a championship game. This is going to be a real interesting game. The Lions have everything to play for here. The 49ers might have some nerves. And if the Lions get up on them, man, I think it's going to be a long day for the 49ers. So I think both of these games are set up to be good games for a majority of the games. The Lions and 49ers one, I think it's going to be a lot closer. I kind of give the edge to the Lions, to be honest with you. And then I wonder if the 49ers go quarterback shopping in the offseason. What are your thoughts on this?
I don't think they're going to go quarterback shopping unless something crazy. Unless you have Mahomes after winning the Super Bowl goes, you know what? I'm tired of Kansas City. I want to go to the Bay. Can I go to the Bay? Andy Reid's retiring. It's like, I don't want to play with Andy Reid. I want to play with Kyle Shanahan. Yeah. That's the only way they would get rid of Purdy. Because again, I think that Purdy is that young gem that will grow. He's just not there, right?
Fair enough.
That being said,
yeah,
if Debo is in the game, I give a minor edge, like 51-49% edge to the Lions.
Yeah.
If Debo was out of the game, I think that the Niners don't have a chance in hell. I'm just being That's honest.
Yeah.
I think the Niners are very, very good, but there is something.
Yeah.
There's something in the water in Detroit right now.
Yeah.
And considering other parts of Michigan don't have water, that's a huge deal.
Oh, Jesus.
So like, this is that Cinderella story. We talked about this previously. This is what the longest yard type situation is made up of, where it's like this quarterback has been counted out. You had a major injury on the tight end. You went and got the old tight end to come in and like be that veteran guidance. Does he still have anything in the tank? Like, the players coach on the team. Like, we talked about all this last week. And I think this is a match made in destiny of the Ravens and Lions. And then you have the conversation, do the Lions break this endless curse? Or does the other top guy finally get there in Lamar? And I think that's the collision course we're headed for right now.
Yeah, that's the most exciting. Look, I know 49ers Ravens would be an exciting Super Bowl, certainly because all the weapons on both sides. But you'd feel like, oh, let's see if Purdy can do it. If Purdy comes out and balls out against these Lions and like it's 45-10 in the 49ers' favor, then we're all having separate conversations, including Ryan Clark. We're all having separate conversations about Purdy going into this Super Bowl. But if it's a squeaker and it's like only because Goff threw an interception, it was deflected or something, people are going to have questions. Whereas if Goff and the Lions handle their business, I think that's a more exciting matchup. You've got Jahmyr Gibbs, you've got Amon St. Brown, you've got a strong defense, you've got these Lions players who were there when they went like winless. You've got legacy here that could be really interesting. Plus the Lions in a Super Bowl, which has never happened. And that would be awesome to see.
And I think the only way that we could potentially put the NFL is rigged and the writing stories and this ridiculous saga of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce to bed. You not only need Lamar to handle his business, but at the very least, you need the Lions to handle their business, bro. And I'll be honest with you, there wasn't a city on earth that needed or deserved that Super Bowl more than New Orleans because of Katrina and everything.
Yes.
I feel the same way about a potential Super Bowl win for the Lions here.
Yeah. Oh, 100%.
Detroit has been so just decimated by so many different things for a long time. But like my sisters are from there, man. So I'm pulling for this team for their sake. But I've gone to visit a lot, and it is desolate at times. The city is not like, because of what the motor industry has become, because of everything. I think this city, if you're looking at the four cities out here, other things can't be tough in Baltimore, obviously.
Right, of course.
Baltimore.
Yeah. What's the wire? Yeah, exactly.
But Detroit, man, like what this would mean for Detroit is absolutely crazy. And I think that most people, I believe, other than unless it's your team that's up for one of these, I think most people are now pulling for the Cinderella story to see the Lions finish this.
It's a redemption tale. If Goff can go back to this Super Bowl and win it, it is a redemption tale.
Yes, it is.
And him and McVay are 1-1. Are 1-1, right? I mean, they both lost that Super Bowl to the Patriots. Now he went and won it with Stafford. If Goff goes and wins it under Dan Campbell, they are 1-1. It's a great Cam Newton. I don't watch a lot of Cam Newton on his podcast, but Cam Newton said it straight. If you want, you can see it on TikTok. His talk about golf is like they sent that boy to die. They sent him to die in Detroit, and he has been reborn. And
That's
it's incredible to watch this happen. So, yeah. And
you-
Lamar,
you-
let me say real quick, Lamar wins just by getting to the Super Bowl. He
Yes.
doesn't need to win it.
No.
Goff needs to win it.
He needs to win it because Lamar will also have an MVP. Him making
Yes.
it there, then we know all of a sudden
MVPs,
that like
yeah.
now Lamar is fully in that conversation. There's no denying him what it means for his legacy, especially because there is a belief that he could get back there again.
Totally.
I'm not saying that the Lions couldn't in theory,
Yeah.
but we did talk about how they are in a moment right now, but I wouldn't necessarily call them the premier of this division or of this conference.
Yeah.
Because most of that conversation is the Niners, the Eagles when they get their act together. You know what I'm saying? Like there's other teams that you would make that argument for, and now they're going to be in the conversation for hopefully for the next few years.
Yeah.
But this genuinely feels like for them, if they're gonna win a Super Bowl with this core, this is it.
Yeah. And if the Chiefs beat these Ravens, I don't care who the Chiefs are playing. I take the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. Because if you can beat both Buffalo and Baltimore on the road,
I completely agree.
Then you are fucking odds-on favorite to win the Super Bowl. And I will say that.
I'll tell you this. I would take the Ravens over the field right now.
Yes, 100%.
I would take the Ravens over the field.
Yes.
But I think my heart is specifically pulling for the Lions. I am really hoping they do it. And let alone for someone who is so hardened like Eminem.
Yeah.
To see this kind of side of him just as a fan and feel like not soft. Soft is the wrong word, but like a more like human like element to him instead of just like a Slim Shady, like I'm a kid. Like it feels like it's like, oh shit, like this just a regular dude is just pulling for his city and pulling for his team. Like that's man. So
if Detroit makes it, there's no way Eminem's not crashing Usher's halftime show. There's no fucking way.
What song did they do together?
I don't know, but he'll crash it. Make that guy do a song. All right, one last thing, and I gotta get us out of it. Well, actually, let's take a quick break and then we'll jump into two last stories and we'll get on out of here. Thank you, Winston, for hanging on so long. We'll be right back right after this. All right, we got 75 of you joining me right now. I've been talking since 8 a.m., so I am. I need a break before we got hot mic at 4 p.m. PT today with me and Jeff. So I need a 2-hour break for God's sakes to rest my voice. But I want to hit these two stories. I put this up on our rundown, Winston. I'm just going to run through this, and I want to hear your thoughts on this. NFL head coaching updates: the Titans are apparently set to hire Bengals offensive coordinator Brian Callahan as their next head coach, which of course probably makes Joe Burrow a bit upset there. Ron Rivera, son of a bitch. I love Ron, but God damn it. He is reportedly interviewing for the Eagles defensive coordinator position. God damn it, Ron. Within our division, go outside our division. And apparently Eagles coach Nick Sirianni's job is safe. Probably hiring Ron Rivera helps him in that respect. And Bill Belichick is supposedly going for a second interview in Atlanta. Jim Harbaugh is going for a second interview for the Chargers. What do you think about all of this stuff? Because we're also waiting for the Lions coordinators who are not obviously allowed to take any interviews here during this run to kind of be free to be able to make their conversations as well. What are your thoughts on all these moving pieces on these head coaches and coordinators in the NFL?
Well, one, good for Brian Callahan if he ends for getting that job. You always love seeing good coordinators become head coaches. I hope that the Bengals organization is able to recover from that. Because I think a lot of what really worked well from them is not only that Burrow is a stud and you had two stud wide receivers and Mixon is still always in the mix, no pun intended.
Right.
But you had a really good, offensive system there, play call. So I hope that the Bengals can hold on because I really like the Bengals a lot. I like cheering for them. As far as Ron Rivera, you tried to give me how would you feel if Mike McCarthy, if he just all of a sudden went to the Giants? I was like, let me give you a better example because that's not a good one. The way Ron Rivera has coached y'all, I don't know why you're this upset about it. It's like when Jason Garrett left for the Giants and then the Giants shit the bed. So you should be excited about this because my question is, what has Ron done for you other than making you want him to leave every fucking week? If that's now the curse that they put on Philly, would you not be excited about that, sir?
No, because I know what's going to happen.
What's going to happen?
He's going to go there. He's going to coach an incredible defense. They're going to shut us down. and he'll get to survive. Do you know how many former Commanders coaches are kicking ass in the NFL? Sean McVay is a former Commanders coach there. Kyle Shanahan, former Commanders coach there. Mike McDaniel, former Commanders assistant coach there, or not assistant, whatever. He's one of the lower assistant coaches there. So we have so many. So Ron Rivera going over there.
So you're a coach farm. That's cool.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to
be proud of yourself.
I'd like to keep one.
You deserve a blue ribbon for that. That's incredible. We developed the best coaches in the league. That's so cool. I'm proud of you.
I don't want to do it.
Also, you didn't want to talk about your coach getting in a feud with your Florida quarterback, bro.
Oh, who was that? Who's that?
You didn't hear that RG3 and Gruden have been in a massive feud?
Fuck Jay Gruden. Let me tell you that right now. Fuck Jay Gruden. I saw people defending him against RG3. Look, RG3 sometimes, shoots his mouth off, doesn't say the right thing, whatever. But RG has been reborn as an analyst, and that motherfucker does the work, okay? I doubted RG when he first became an analyst. I'm like, oh, man, this is just living off his name. But just like, was it Matt Leinart? He has been reborn here as an analyst, and it's been fun to watch RG. And he goes toe-to-toe on social media. A man of faith, a man who has strong opinions, strong beliefs, and can defend them with research and analysis. Jay Gruden is a fucking prick, and I hated him as our coach. And him calling out RG3, you can outrun a pigeon. Fuck, bitch, learn how to coach. Fuck off, man. So I go crazy about that bullshit.
The fact that Gruden admitted to RG, I don't know what to do with a quarterback that can run. Bitch,
yeah.
Like it's your job to figure it the fuck out. Then why did you, whether or not, if that's the case, then get in the face of your GM and be like, well, then don't draft him. Because the truth is, what Gruden did to RG3 and putting him in that position and getting him hurt like that is the same thing that we saw. What the fuck is his name that used to coach the goddamn Titans and then went over to the Rams? Ross.
Jeff
Fisher. Fisher ruined Vince Young. Absolutely ruined Vince Young. And when you have a quarterback with that kind of now go look at Cam Newton, which Ron knew exactly what to do with him, and did really well with him.
Went to Super Bowl.
You look at Patrick Mahomes and what Andy Reid has done with him. You look at these black quarterbacks that are able to use their legs. Hell, Pete Carroll. We're now starting to question if Russell Wilson was ever that good, but the coach made him that good. Clearly. So it's clear that Jay is the one that's wrong because your job is to guide this young man to have a strong professional career, and instead you broke him, and he was never the same. So miss me with that shit, bro.
Jay Gruden lives off the farts of John Gruden. That's what he lives off. Not even the coach, the fucking fart. The second part of it, I will ask you about, and I should have brought this up earlier, but what are your thoughts on Jared Mayo and Antonio Pierce, two black head coaches becoming
very excited about that
of the New England Patriots and the Las Vegas Raiders, respectively? And Jared Mayo saying, "Of course, I see color. You can't see racism if you don't see color." So,
and that's that. Dude, that to me was so clutch. And then someone did a number of trigger people,
of course,
of a little bit of the people that are a little racist, got dog whistled, being like, "How dare you!" But that's the point. That's what we've been saying. That phrase, "I don't see color," is not actually a compliment. No. It's kind of like when someone says, "Oh, you're attractive for a Latino guy. You're attractive for a black guy." Or how about, "I'm just attractive." Go fuck yourself. This idea of you don't see color means you don't see me fully. So to hear him say that is huge, because that also means that then you can tackle the things that are an actual problem, let alone he is proven as that linebackers coach. Because the one thing that has not been bad in New England are the linebackers. And he won a title. He knows how to do it because he was under Belichick as a player, and then he still got some of that pedigree by being around. So I genuinely am hoping that Gerard Mayo becomes the next incredible player that becomes an even better coach. And Antonio Pierce earned that, and I'm so excited for him, and I can't wait to see what the Raiders do.
I agree. I think Antonio Pierce absolutely earned it. If the players are behind him, like Max Crosby, then 100%. Let's see, run it back, because you know what, the players won't turn on you if you gave them what they wanted. So the other side of this, I love the Jared Mayo, and of course, in a city or in an area of the country like New England, that's been known for maybe not being the best in terms of treatment of black people. Let's talk to Bill Russell, the late great Bill Russell, about that. I think it's a smart move to come in going like, this is who I am. This is what I'm all about. This is what I'm talking about. Deal with it or get the fuck out of my face. And I love that. So I'm cool with that. I think he's going to be, and clearly Kraft has been nurturing this guy for a bit. That's why Belichick was pissed, because he knew Jared Mayo was coming in to essentially replace him for the last couple of years. That's why I think
it was. Well, hold on. I don't think that was the case, because Bill knew about this too.
No, but Bill didn't like it. There have been a number of reports where Bill was like, because Kraft was giving more power to Jared Mayo over the last couple of years, and it was causing questions for Bill Belichick from his players.
Interesting.
And so he was having issues with it. There's a number of reports that break that.
Interesting, because I do remember it was in a contract that once Bill was done, that Mayo was getting the job. That it was already.
I don't think it was in Bill's contract. I'll tell you that right now.
But it feels like he must have known about it. But I think that then goes to show that the trio that was Kraft, Belichick, and Brady, there have been rifts for a while. 100%. That's one of those things where it's like, all right, we're going to do this one last tour, but then the band's breaking up. And it sounds like Belichick has not apparently gotten along with those two for a minute. So
yeah, it's been a bit. Yes, absolutely. And if you watch that press conference, you could tell there was no love there anymore, so it's kind of like Jimmy Johnson and Jerry Jones, although they patched it back up apparently. One last thing here. We got to talk about this, dude. Caitlin Clark's situation. This happened earlier over the weekend. She was playing her and, Caitlin Clark, of course, is considered the best women's basketball player on the planet currently. Some people consider, of course, there are other people who you look at other players here in the league, but it pretty much unified, it seems like, across the board. She is one of the great players. Well, her Iowa team got upset by Ohio State on their home court there in Ohio State University. And as she's running off the court, Caitlin Clark was hit by that female fan there with her phone up and went falling over. Now, two reactions have come out of this. One is this idea that we need to do better as security to protect the players when there are people storming the court. There's conversations about, should fans storm the court anymore? This needs to stop. The other, and I've seen this pop up the last couple of days, is that people think Caitlin Clark is flopping because she puts her arms out, hits, and then spins around and falls down. So I don't know what to feel about this, other than I think you avoid the whole situation. No more storming the court. Like, it's done. Like, storming the field, storming the court. That's always been a recipe for danger. And as fans have become more, how can I say this, more willing to buy into destroying the barriers between themselves and the players, as we've seen people run onto courts, both professional and college, I think it's a dangerous thing to allow them free reign to jump onto a court like this. And I think the way you avoid it is to penalize the team. Like, say, now you're going to take 5 losses on your record. And so you've got to be very strong about this. What are your thoughts? Am I being an old man? What do you think?
I think that a major thing that is being missed with this, I don't think it's, you don't storm the court. That's a tradition. It is what it is. I'll let you have that. Here's the problem.
Yeah.
The first is, and I've said this a lot just about life.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting to a really scary place where anything other than self-interest, and the social contract are eroding.
Yes.
What that is 1,000%. Caitlin is very clearly going to the thing. That fan had no spatial awareness. Now, I don't know if this is something that you deal with in your everyday life, but like, I'll be in the grocery store and somebody will like take a whole aisle up and bitch, move. Like just pull to the side
with the cart.
Fuck you. How do you not run on the court and not notice other people? You're so into your phone, you're not aware of people running around, let alone Caitlin fucking Clark.
Yeah. She could have been seriously hurt, brother.
It is a situation where the only reason that this genuinely happened is because we are in a space now where people are only thinking about themselves. I'm not saying you're not excited, but when you would storm the court previously, you wouldn't have your phone out. That's a self-interested thing. I have to get this video. This is incredible. I have to get this. I have to get this. A lot
of views. Yeah.
And just whatever it is, whether it's I want to post it to be viral or I want this to have in my phone so I can have it forever because I was at that moment.
Yeah.
You are not living in the moment. You are not aware of your surroundings. You are focused on yourself.
Yeah.
And that is why it happened. And it's one of those situations that it can be taken outside of this to the rest of life. People have to have more spatial fucking awareness.
Yeah.
And people have to be stop being so self-interested. That is the thing that social media, viral videos, Twitter/X, whatever the fuck you want to call it, all of this has made us so self-interested. And that is the only reason that happened. And it's funny. It's a good thing. It was. I can't tell if that's a student or a grown woman.
It seems like a student. Yeah.
Good thing it's a student, because Caitlin Clark, I just heard for her nil deal, she makes like $818,000. They would sue that poor ass college student to the ends of the earth if she was a grown ass adult with some money, especially if she had gotten hurt. And so my message to take away to everybody that's watching this: be aware of your fucking surroundings, not just for your own self-interest, but for the other people that are here, because we share this space collectively. So stop being so fucking selfish.
Yeah, and Caitlin said that it was kind of scary. She said, I could see they were storming the court, which was totally fine. Good for their students. Great win for them. But she was hammered and blindsided by this person. And the Iowa coach said, that should just not happen. Our players should be safe. They should be able to walk off the floor. That's very disappointing. To her credit, or to Ohio State's credit, both the AD and the coach came out came into the locker room and apologized to Caitlin for what happened, and she appreciated that. But she also said this shouldn't happen. These people should, we should be protected from situations like that. And you're 100% right, dude. That person was much more focused on themselves, so much so, and this tells you the kind of person this person is. And I bet there's a bunch of parked cars that have been hit by this person, and no note has been left by them. She hits Caitlin Clark. And it is her fault.
Doesn't come back. That's the other thing.
Does not come back to
bro.
Her
that should have been the first thing. Oh shit! That was the one. That was the one argument I forgot to mention. Yeah. And that's how I know she was that self-interested.
Yep.
If I accidentally hurt somebody, the first thing I am so, and I'm going. Can I help you up? Do you need ice? Somebody get over here. And said, oh, okay, and then kept going. Yeah. Fuck you, bro. Your friend better be on fire in the middle of that crowd, and that's the only reason you can't check on her, because that is insane. Let alone, I would venture a guess here, because Caitlin Clark is shaping up to potentially be one of the greatest women athletes of all time. If she continues on this trajectory, she's already up there as one of the greatest female college athletes of all time. But she could be in the conversation with Serena and Simone Biles and all that when this is all said and done, right?
Yeah.
As a woman, to not look at and realize, oh my God, that's Caitlin Clark, arguably the greatest, even if that's the rival we just beat, that is one of the greatest. If I accidentally knocked over Steph Curry.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Oh my God, not Steph Curry. Bro, I'm so fucking sorry. Even if the Mavs just beat them to go to the finals, I'm like, Steph, bro, you good? Like, like, if not for the decent human thing to do, what sense of like pride doesn't come in to try and protect what is the national treasure that Caitlin Clark has become?
Exactly. Yeah, it's mind blowing. And Caitlin, to her credit, 45 points in that game, even though they lost the game in overtime. And sadly, a couple of her players have been getting death threats from Iowa fans. So I mean, you fuckers don't deserve anything. Like, it's a thing at the end of the day, Winston. And again, I'm going to sound like the old man sitting on a fucking rocket chair again. But at some point, we're going to have to take extreme measures on social media. At some point, we're going to have to out these people, go find their URLs, publicly post them, post where they're living. These people who are sending death threats, I'm guaranteed they're not smart enough to go through 4 fucking servers. It needs to be outed. Yes, freedom of speech, not freedom from consequences. And especially when people who are celebrities or well-known people, well-known athletes, the danger level heightens every year. And we see people like this who just kind of care about themselves and put these people in danger. And I think it's time, way past time, that people start to get outed for these kinds of things. I mean, I got so many death threats for my Charmin Obey-Chanoy rant that I had about it. So many people were wishing me dead and sending me DMs, things of that nature. One person said I should go through with my suicide. Other person said, absolutely, you'll get it right this time. So this is the kind of things that, look, and I can handle it. I can handle it. But there are other people that may not be able to handle it and may have issues with this. And this is where you have to start outing these people 100%. And I would gladly have extra taxes taken out to fund prisons to put these fuckers in so they can stop doing this bullshit. Because enough is enough, man. These death threats, these sexual violence, all that stuff needs to be outed. All those fuckers need to be in prison for saying that shit, because it is way past time. That's a threat. That is a threat, and it needs to be treated with much more harsher things in our country than it is right now.
But like, again, Roka, that's what scares me, is the social contract has all but eroded.
Yeah.
And so what scares me now, like, you're in San Diego, you can tell me if this is an issue down there. I have seen so many people run red lights, and not like it just turned red. Yeah. I mean, like, my light just turned green. I'm about to accelerate, and all of a sudden the opposing way just and would have killed themselves, anybody else in that crosswalk, pedestrians, all sorts of shit. This social 100%. Contract is almost gone. That's also why you end up seeing situations where there's more gun violence and whatnot. It is a situation where we have stopped caring about our fellow man, and we think it's appropriate to just act the way that we're acting. And so I really hope and I pray that something changes, that we finally start having some love and respect and care for one another, because to me, that is the big difference. I'm not saying that we've always been cool and all that kind of stuff, but there is a level of, I don't fucking care about you. I care about me and mine. That is at an all-time high across the board. It's not just white people are doing it to black people. It's not just the rich doing it to the poor. It's across the board. It's like being in the LGBT community and being racist. It's being, being like Asian, but then like you're being, misogynistic. It literally runs across all gambits, where it really is, I'm about me, fuck you. And that has to stop. That has to stop so fast, or we're all fucked. What a happy note to end the show on.
Well, I got a better one. Sean Brandon saying, death threats, absolutely not. Blood feuds, absolutely. You're right, Sean. 100%.
But all that being said, the last thing, and I mentioned something, I saw Jermaine King going, how are you going to call her the GOAT when she ain't got no chip? Well, again, like I mentioned in the chat back, first of all that being said, LeBron didn't have a chip for a long time, but people were still putting respect on LeBron's name because he was doing things that were unheard of. Steph Curry didn't have a chip for a minute, and then he did it, let alone Michael fucking Jordan got his shit pushed in by the bad boy Pistons for a long time. And then one day he turned the corner, and the legacy became that he became Michael Jordan. So let's put respect on Caitlin Clark's name for what she's actually doing right now. I give all the credit. And I was way more of a fan of Angel Reese and what she did in that championship. But to sit here and act like Caitlin Clark isn't doing unheard of things right now, and is actually making women's basketball that we've been trying to build up already, and it has had a little bit of this is the type of play that if she continues, if Angel Reese continues to play at that, this is how all of a sudden now the WNBA and all that is a real thing that people are talking about, that I can't get tickets for $25. I got to spend $100-something to get to that game and to go and enjoy that. So I just, let's keep things in perspective here. All right.
One last Streamlab we got here. Thank you, Sean, for reminding me. I apologize. We got caught up in so many things. Sean said, hi, Winston. Big smile. Hello, Roka. About 2 months ago, you both said the winner of the AFC had no shot against the NFC. Do you still give no chance to the Ravens or Bills? Wait, that's right. It's the Chiefs. Eat it. Blood feud. Love you guys. No, obviously things have changed, as things do in the NFL season. So at that time, I think we were right to say that. Now, clearly, we've seen the Ravens ascend, which they needed to do, overcoming a number of season-end injuries to their running backs and getting some of their defenders back. Now, hopefully getting Mark Andrews back. No, I think absolutely the Ravens are, as Winston said, the odds-on favorites out of the 4 teams right now left. What do you
think? I think that the AFC, like the Ravens are the best team in football. I said that. So I think that I'm taking the Ravens. Well, I guess I already said that. I'm taking the Ravens over the field right now.
Yeah.
But I think that there is something undescribable in the magic that, again, what the Lions have done so far, that if they can I think everybody's rooting for that story right now. Minus someone that is a Baltimore fan, a Kansas City fan, or a Niners fan. I think the rest of the country is in this space where, like, what's happening? And I don't think anybody that's not on those teams would be upset. I even think that if one of these teams loses to the Lions, they're upset because they lost, but they go, fuck, that's kind of cool, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's still something about it. Like, when the Miami Heat fans lost to Dirk, they go, but Dirk's a good dude and shit. Like, I really wish LeBron had pulled it off. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a level of you that's like, when the Cubs won, even the team that lost to the Cubs, it's kind of like, damn, they've been jinxed for like over 100 years. Like, look how happy Bill Murray is. that's what this feels like right now. So
yeah, it's going to feel that way when the Cowboys finally win the Super Bowl. Damn, it's been so long for them. Give them the Super Bowl for sure. All right, well there you go. That's our game time show. Thank you all so much for hanging out with us. So Peggy, yeah, that's right, Peggy. Same thing with your Bears. They'll be back there. Since 1985, they'll get there. I know they will. Thank you all so much for hanging out. We appreciate it. Love you all madly. Thanks for the Streamlabs and the Streamlabs. There are no super chats here on the channel. We appreciate it. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit that bell button, leave a comment down below, hit a like on this video. And of course, Winston, thanks for taking 2 hours today. I'm sorry we went so long.
That's my fault. I talked a lot. I talked a lot.
Did it all shirtless. Did it all shirtless.
But yeah, no, I gotta stop screaming because this is supposed to be over at 1 and my girlfriend's working in the other room.
Oh, sorry.
So it's all good. You find me at the Swaggy Blurred. Check me out on YouTube, TikTok, all that kind of stuff. Got a Breakfast Sam News coming out tomorrow. So much love for all that. And I'll see you guys next week.
Absolutely. We'll definitely have a fun time. And I know I've promised to watch the games on the channel. I will do that this weekend. It's only 2 games, so I will do them back to back if you want to hang out on the channel as I watch the games there. Because Royal Rumble's on Saturday night. I'll be doing that on the main channel. And the main channel is youtube.com/John Roca Says. Come and follow me there. The Outlaw Nation, all stuff going on. Don't forget the hot mic today at 4 p.m. PT. We're talking the Oscar stuff and some other news that Jeff's got to break. And then, of course, we got funny stuff.
How you not going to nominate Greta?
Well, yeah, it's a fair point. You know why? There are not enough nominations. There needs to be an increase. Don't get me started.
No, I know. And I almost brought it up.
It's got to go to 8. If more movies are in contention and now you're starting to throw in foreign movies, there's no reason that should be 5 nominations. 0 fucking reasons, for God's sakes. Forget that elitism, exclusivity bullshit. You got to respect the art, man.
Damn, man. I genuinely think that was the big snub, but let's not. That's a whole show, and this is a sports show. Let's get out of here.
Yeah, we gotta go. All right, thank you all so much. Much love to you. We'll talk to you next time on a brand new episode here of Game Time. Enjoy the games. Peace.